Dun, 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 dun. I'm not a perfect person. It's the only part I know. Y'all know. Yeah, had that on TikTok. What's up, YouTube? What's up, fam? What's up, newcomers? What's your channel, man? I see the title. We're entering the post Brainrot era. Post. So I guess that means post. I think that means current.
Online. We breathe content, we consume media like it's oxygen,
Mm-hmm.
and we're constantly bombarded with warnings about how we're damaging our minds with all this scrolling, all these edits, all this stimulation. But what if I told you we're actually at the beginning of something new? What if all this brain rot is about to change? I'm not here to shame you for using social media. I'm not going to tell you how many hours of screen time is acceptable. I'm here because I think we're witnessing the early signs of a major shift. Let's talk about what brain rot actually is. It's that feeling when you've scrolled for hours and somehow feel both completely overstimulated and totally empty.
Yeah.
It's when you're watching Netflix while scrolling Instagram while half listening to a podcast.
Yeah.
It's when you can't remember anything you watched yesterday despite watching content for 6 straight hours. We all know this feeling. We all live this feeling. When I say we, I absolutely mean we. I'm not above any of this. For years, we've been told this is happening because our attention spans are destroyed. We're dopamine addicts. We're broken. But that explanation feels too simple, too convenient. It doesn't capture what's actually happening to us. Think about something you saw online that genuinely moved you. A video that made you feel something real. A song that transported you somewhere else. We all have
Handful of songs. Handful. Cardi, Location, Drake, God's Plan. Especially when the beat drops, like she said, "Do you love me?" I tell her only partly. I only love my bed and my mom. I'm sorry. Then the beat drop. Boom. Even Future, turn on the lights. Turn on the lights. Looking for.
these moments, which immediately shoots down the idea that our brains are completely fried and unable to connect with anything. The real question is, how much content did you have to sift through to find that one piece that actually mattered? Hundreds of videos? Thousands? And do you remember any of them in between? That's the actual pattern. We're not incapable of paying attention. We're drowning in a sea of content that's explicitly designed to be forgotten the moment after it's consumed. Every platform, every creator, every brand is competing for your attention. So they've engineered content to be increasingly emotional, increasingly stimulating, increasingly addictive.
Just like Mr.
It's not
Beast.
just about short attention spans anymore. It's about who can create the most intense feeling in the shortest time.
Well, hot take. Think of TikTok as fast food restaurant. Wendy's, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A. YouTube is more of the long. It's like the restaurant. You sit down. It's the long term. So technically, yeah, he is right, but not really though. Hold on. Let me cook now. Hold on. Listen. What do we do when we on YouTube? Look for a good video, whether recommended or your favorite YouTuber. What do your favorite YouTuber be posting? How many minutes? About 10 to 20 to even 30 plus minutes, right? Boom. You sit there, you watch, right? Boom. You don't watch, you don't eat until you find that right video. Boom. Come on. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
TikToks are 7 seconds of pure concentrated emotion. Songs are getting shorter, more hook-centered.
Yeah.
YouTube videos are edited with a relentless pace.
Yep.
None of this is revolutionary information. We all know the internet is changing us. We know and we've known. But now we're
Yeah, this
entering
instrumental
something
good though.
different.
Hold on.
We're not just in an era of distraction anymore.
Yeah.
We're in an era of merciless emotional gratification. And it's getting more intense every single day. Every time you open an app, you're bombarded with content that's more beautiful, more emotional, more complex, more intense than the last time. That sounds amazing if you don't think about the implications. But when you spend enough time being constantly bombarded by content, you start to feel something weird.
Exactly. Think about it, fellas. How many times have y'all been saying to yourself, you know what? Today's gonna be the day that I change. No more whatever, right? And then it's always that's how they get you. It's every time when you try to become better in yourself, then you just see a baddie on the feed. Then boom, there you go. There you go. You lose the energy. But to obtain the energy is more sacred than that. That's why my feed just be with funny videos or even with the animals. Cause that's how they try to get you. Cause it's addictive. It's the repeating cycle. I heard this audio yesterday. It was like, remember, if you don't break the cycle, it will repeat the next day. And it was like a robot voice over and over. And I realized she's right. If you don't break the cycle today, it is going to repeat the next day. If you do not break the cycle, it is going to repeat the next day. Every day. So, fellas, before you lose your energy, because it's hard to obtain energy just with lust, though. Lust filled feeds, baddies, you know. But just keep going.
Something that has nothing to do with failing attention spans or addictive algorithms. It's a feeling of emptiness, a weird
And it be
dread that sits
boring
deep in
too.
your chest after hours of emotionally saturated content. That's what scares me most about all this. Not that we can't focus, but that we're being overloaded.
These look
Our
like eyes.
capacity to process
See?
information has limits,
Wait, there are
the
eyes.
content doesn't. And this overflow of digital stimulation is affecting how we interact with the world around us. Have you noticed how difficult it's becoming for us to connect offline? There's research
So look what's going on.
There's a
See?
big threat out there.
There's
Yeah.
no use fighting.
You are gonna help me stop.
Book, you have
there's research suggesting our generation experiences higher rates
What
of
is
social
going
anxiety
on?
when it comes to in-person interactions. It's not our fault. When you grow up in an environment where digital communication is primary, face-to-face interaction becomes this strange, unfiltered experience that we can't edit.
Uh, I guess me, I choose to do what I want to do. If I feel like speaking to somebody, I'm gonna do it. It's not social awkwardness or social anxiety. It's just okay. I just want to be left alone that day, and that's what I choose to do.
Edit, can't delete, can't curate. Our devices have become externalized emotional regulation systems. Feeling awkward? Pull out
If
your
this do this
phone.
again, I'm gonna have
Feeling
to
bored?
refresh
Open
this.
TikTok. Feeling anxious? Scroll Instagram. Feeling lonely? Watch YouTube. The problem isn't that these are inherently bad coping mechanisms. The problem is that they're becoming our only coping mechanisms, and they're
Hmm.
not actually designed to help us cope. They're
Hmm. You may be right, cause nigga, listen. When it just be boring, let's just say you in a long line, standing outside a Target. You in the line, the owl line. What you gonna do when you bored? On the phone. Exactly. On the phone. He's right. He's right.
They're designed to keep us engaged.
He is right.
The systems that deliver this content are getting better at emotional targeting. They're learning what makes you angry, what makes you sad, what makes you laugh, what makes you scared, and they're serving you more of whatever keeps you scrolling.
Nah, but like crying do be feeling good though. Sometimes I just need to release. I do. So you just sit there, just cry. Then you just feel better afterwards.
The entire digital infrastructure is built around this model.
It
Your
works.
emotional state is the product being sold to advertisers. So are we doomed? I don't think so. Because something is happening. People are getting tired. Really tired. Not just metaphorically, neurologically exhausted. Our brains weren't designed to process information at the volume and emotional intensity we've been forcing them to. Have you noticed how many people are talking about digital detoxes now? How many friends have deleted TikTok or Instagram because
No, but that be working. Listen. Y'all have to do that. Cleanse your minds. It's like you cleanse your body, cleanse your minds. Because that do be working. I remember, boom. I don't really be on TikTok like that, but when I did delete it, it just felt refreshing. Because then you start being one with nature, one with earth. Same thing, you on vacation, Bahamas, a cruise, London, Bali, whatever all the baddies be going to, say you went there. What's the first thing you're going to do? Document your life. Now, obviously, if you're a content creator, that's what you can do. I'm not saying you can't pull out the phone, take a beautiful picture of what God created. Wow, God created this wonderful earth, and I get to see it, and I just traveled it. Look at the nice blue water, the wind, the trees. You can do that, but it just feel better when you just live in the moment. Just sit back and just be off the phone that whole vacation. You don't got to worry about it. He's right.
it was melting their
You know what he
brains?
talking about?
How the term brain rot itself has gone mainstream? That exhaustion is actually the first sign we're entering a post-brain rot era. When you get so sick of feeling manipulated by short-form emotional content that you start seeking something else, something deeper, something more substantial, that's the beginning of change. Look at what's gaining traction. Long-form podcasts where people just talk for hours. YouTube
They don't even
videos
know
that
what
go
they be
deep on a
talking
single
about.
topic without frantic editing. Communities forming around shared interests rather than shared content. This isn't happening because we suddenly got more virtuous. It's happening because we're exhausted. Our brains are screaming for coherence, for something that doesn't feel like it's tearing us apart. I think what we're seeing is a pendulum swing. We put
Also, what will help is take that cold plunge too. You can do it physically or you can do it in a bowl. Grab a bowl, cold water, ice. You see, just like with the Ashton Hall situation, do that, it wakes you up. Boom. Or as soon as you get up, don't get on the phone because that's how y'all start the day and that's how you're going to fall into the loop. For the first hour, don't even be on it.
We pushed so far in one direction, toward fragmentation, toward micro-content, toward algorithmic curation, that a counter-movement was inevitable. People are seeking out more integrated, more coherent experiences. And the interesting thing is, platforms are starting to respond, not out of the goodness of their hearts, but because market forces demand it. If users become dissatisfied, platforms adapt. There's a growing recognition that optimizing solely for attention is a race to the bottom. Eventually, you hit the biological limits of human perception. You can't make videos shorter than a certain threshold. You can't make cuts faster than the brain can process. So, what comes next? That's the post-Brainrot era I'm talking about. It's not about abandoning digital spaces or returning to some pre-internet utopia. It's about evolving towards something more sustainable, more nourishing, more human. I think we'll see a bifurcation of digital experiences. On one hand, algorithmic content will continue to optimize, getting more precisely targeted, more emotionally calibrated. But on the other hand, we'll see the growth of spaces that explicitly reject that model. The post-brain rot era isn't about going backward. It's about moving forward more consciously, about building digital spaces that enhance our humanity rather than exploit it. This transition won't be easy or clean. The psychological hooks of infinite scrolling and algorithmic feeds are deeply embedded in our daily routines, and not everyone will make this transition at the same time or in the same way. For many, especially younger users who have never known anything different, the brain rot era is simply normal.
See, like, look,
Who have never known
the beautiful waves. See? Beautiful waves, just long walks on the beach, and just you get that earthy smell from it. And then you got to thank the moon too, because that controls the tides. Y'all don't know
anything
that.
different.
And
The brain
trees.
rot era is simply normal. It's the water they swim in.
Yep.
But I believe the signs of change are there if you look for them. The growing dissatisfaction with algorithmically driven experiences, the fatigue with constant stimulation, the yearning for something more substantive, more meaningful. The most interesting aspect of this shift is that it's not being driven by moral panic or technological reactionaries. It's coming from digital natives themselves, people who grew up online and are now demanding something better. Because ultimately, what's at stake isn't just how we consume content, it's how we experience reality, it's how we relate to each other, it's how we understand ourselves. The post-brain rot era isn't inevitable. It's a possibility, a direction we might choose.
Okay. But like I was saying, you know, give yourself some detoxing. You know, it's a world to explore. W video. It's a world to explore.